Hi, Graham Eccles, Principal of auctioncentre.com.au. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about how to avoid crisis selling of used agricultural equipment in Australia. But firstly, a bit of background on myself. I commenced in the agricultural sales industry in 1981 in a little place called Dalby in southeast Queensland on the Darling Downs, where we had an auction yard for many years and serviced the agricultural industry for both farmers and machinery dealers. We also conducted a lot of on-site farm machinery clearing sales from Emerald through to the middle of New South Wales for some of the major farm machinery clearing sales of the time. Now, in about 2001, we developed an online auction program with a company called RP Data. Now, RP Data these days is called CoreLogic. They're mostly involved in real estate data. However, back in 2001, we were able to get together and develop our online program, which was a pretty good program of the day and served us quite well. Now, when we had the online program up and running, we were still doing our on-site clearing sale work and our auctions live on site. Now, eventually I had to make a decision based on the facts that we had before us, and they really were the fact that our online program was most certainly creating some good benefits for our clients. So it was very difficult for me to justify continuing on with doing on-site auctions when our online program was far exceeding expectation for outcomes. So in around 2010, we went completely online, and this enables us to reach a national audience as opposed to an audience that traditionally for a physical on-site auction you only get around about a 3-hour radius of customers that in that catchment area. The results speak for themselves in the online auctions and the savings to our clients, where they didn't have to transport equipment in to our yard and transport it home if it didn't sell, sometimes costing thousands of dollars to do that, was an enormous saving in itself. The other things that were a good positive for doing online sales was the fact that we were able to engage buyers from all states in Australia, and within a few minutes they could set up, be registered and can commence bidding on items in our sales right from the get-go. So there are so many other positives that I won't take up your time with here today. However, suffice to say that the online auction program is far in excess better than doing a physical on-site auction these days in our experience. So now I just want to talk about machinery dealers. We have a number of really good machinery dealers as clients, and a lot of them have similar issues that probably are happening out there with a lot of other dealers as well that we're not known to. And those issues are the fact that they have dealerships in remote areas. It's very difficult to attract good sales staff into those regions these days for whatever reason. They just don't seem to want to travel into the bush anymore. The other issue that seems to be coming up quite regularly is the fact that with the changes in technology to equipment these days, there is more and more training required by sales staff to keep them up to speed with the new trends that are happening in the agricultural industry. All of this takes away time from selling of used product. Now, the used product, some of our dealers are proactive and are having sales pre-harvest or pre-planting for the seasonal equipment that they have on their books, and we have other clients that operate from crisis to crisis. Now, that's not the best way to do things, and I just thought we'd do this little video to say that managing your used a little bit more effectively can save you thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, in the car industry, many years ago, a lot of the dealers, and most of them these days, still adopt the fact that they have a 90-day program or a 60-day program whereby if they still have a trade in their yard after a period of time, they will either send it to auction or wholesale it in some other way. Now, the agricultural machinery industry has been a little slower in adapting that sort of attitude. And with the cost of equipment getting so much greater these days, I really do think it is about time that we had a look at the whole industry and started trying to be a little bit more streamlined in how the used equipment process is managed. And some of our dealers do it very well, whereby they engage us to do a sale, as I said earlier, pre-harvest or pre-planting. Tractors and other equipment that don't get affected by pre-season don't have the same issues, whereby if you have a combine harvester that you try to sell after harvest as opposed to pre-harvest, the outcome can be vastly different. And if you miss that sale and you hold it over, they can be sitting on your books for a couple of years. And if you miss your first season and the second season we get into a dry period of time, it can be a couple of years before you have an opportunity to sell that item again. So we really need to look at, I think, a way of managing some of those seasonal items in a little bit better way of handling it, and also what happens at the end of the life of a machine in Australia. I think also we've got to look at emerging countries where the markets will be in the future, where whilst the equipment in Australia is no longer being used by our farmers, it still has a useful life, and that useful life is in emerging countries, and how to reach those countries is something that we need to look at collectively as well. But just all in all, I wanted to make the dealers that aren't proactive in selling their used, that are a little bit reactive because of numbers of reasons, and usually it's a time thing and lack of staff to be able to manage the whole process. I'd just like to tell them that we need to hopefully work along with each other a little closer and try and achieve better outcomes for everyone. And if you want to have a chat, our details are on the website. My details are on our website, auctioncentre.com.au. If you want to have a chat at any time, by all means, send me an email or give me a call, and I'm only happy to talk to you about what we may be able to offer, and or finding some other agent that can help you to get on with the selling of your used equipment. Signing off for now.